Because when I came here to Greece the very first time on a holiday with back then she was my girlfriend, she was not my wife, we were living in England, I was like, oh God, I kind of like Greece really, you know, from day one. I arrived here in this country, it was, I can't remember the year, it has to be 2003 maybe. Yeah, 2003 roughly. I think it was before the Olympics. Like I felt like I was at home. It was a strange feeling, it was a strange pull. Then I got fascinated about the language, the culture, and of course, as soon as I tasted the food, I was like, please, can we just move here? Now, the reasons why anybody wants to move to Greece is because the good weather, the sea, the sun, the food, and of course the people. People are very welcoming, right? Greeks are famous for being friends to foreigners, right? The word philoxenia means precisely that, being a friend to a stranger. This is one of the main reasons why I relocated from the UK here to Greece. It's no secret, I've been documented this journey here on this channel, and actually before I started this channel I've been sharing about my Greek lifestyle, and those are the reasons why I relocated here to Greece. Of course, Greeks will tell you that that's not a good enough reason to live here in this country, but then again, when you're born and raised in Greece and this is all you know, for you the grass is always greener on the other side. Or if you haven't experienced something different, then this, you know, doesn't really mean much to you. But for the rest of us that were not born and raised here in this beautiful country, this means quite a lot. The trick is, how can you experience this? And how can you live in a place where there's so much beauty and still live, still earn a living, still be part of the community, still be part of society, right? One of the reasons why there's a lot of foreigners and expats here in Greece is precisely because of that. Because they come from northern countries, they come from England, they come from Germany. You know how many Germans are here in Greece, right? And the grand majority of them will tell you that the weather plays a big role. When I moved to the UK, I grew up in Venezuela if you're new to the channel, but when I moved from Venezuela to the UK, I was aware of the weather in the UK and I was like, I can deal with the rain, you know? I've been told that the weather is pretty bad in England. I've been told that it rains quite a lot, but I'm pretty sure I can deal with it. But I was wrong. After a few years, I really struggled. My mental health really took a hit. I was surprised because I am a very committed person. I am very determined. I believe that I have a lot of determination in what I do. The same way that I traveled to England from Venezuela. It's the same determination that I had from England coming here to Greece. But the weather was one of the things that really affected me when I was living in the UK. I know a lot of expats and foreigners that come here just for the weather. That's one of the main reasons why people come here to Greece, especially foreigners and expats, right? The reason why there is a lot of TV shows in the UK that are called, I don't know, relocation, or A Place in the Sun. You know, I forget the names of this type of TV shows, but the reason why these TV shows are so popular in the UK is because people in the UK, they want to come and invest in properties here in Greece and Spain, Italy, I mean, anywhere in the Mediterranean countries where you can enjoy a better quality of life. And the main reason is because of the weather, right? I mean, it's September and we're still enjoying pretty much this good weather here, right? Look at this. I mean, how's your weather wherever you're watching this video from right now as I'm recording this, September. So, weather is the number one reason. Number two, the food. The quality of food here in Greece is just second to none. The Mediterranean diet is the best in the world, full stop. Right? There's research about it. I don't like to go and do my content based on the science says this or that, because it's not my field, right? But everybody knows that the Mediterranean diet is the most balanced and healthiest diet there is in the world. So the food here in Greece is just unbelievable. Everybody knows this, okay? It's one of the reasons why Greek food is so famous, right? Who doesn't like Greek food? I will say it's the same with Italians and even Spanish. You know, the Mediterranean cuisine is so rich and so fresh, okay? When I was living in England and even in the States, in order to get the same quality of fruits and veg and quality of food, you know, you need to go to a posh supermarket like Whole Foods or whatever. You know, you really need to spend money on getting that fresh tomato, right? Here, all you need to do is just go to the Laiki Agora, to the farmer's market, and you get your fresh fruit and veg. And wherever you go, everything is pretty fresh. And a tomato tastes like a tomato, right? There's nothing more frustrating for me than when I was living in England and tried to taste a tomato that had no taste. I mean, what is that all about? By the way, don't get offended, because I have friends in England and I love my British friends, my British brothers, and my life in England was great, but come on, man. You know, if there's one thing that British people are not famous for, it's the food. When you first move to Greece, you're like, oh my God, so this is my reality now. I can actually have access to fresh fruits and veg. Again, for Greeks, this seems to be something that they don't really think about it, because if you're a Greek and you're born and raised here, you don't really think about that in other parts of the world, you know, you're not enjoying the same access to freshness when it comes to foods and goods. A lot of people ask me, where do you live? Well, you know, I live in Nafplio. I'm pretty sure I have shared quite a lot about this. You know, all you have to do is go into the description or go to my bio. You will see that I push that full front wherever I go, to the point that I want to become the poster boy for Nafplio, at least as an expat or as a foreigner. Again, I know a lot of people have problems with that word, expat or foreigner or immigrant. I am all of those things and more, okay? You know, because I get a lot of you guys here watching the channel for some crazy reason, people that do not like Greece, who are Greeks themselves, they want to watch my videos, which I have no idea why you will do that, right? Because if you are Greek and you don't like your life here in Greece, because yes, I know, I've heard it, high unemployment, hardship, difficulties, the sea and the sun is not enough for you to live here, then I don't understand why would you consume content from an expat or a foreigner or an immigrant talking good about Greece, right? You should be watching the other content, you know, because there are Greeks out there talking about their life in Germany, how great it is. There are Greeks talking about their life in the Netherlands. I know I'm diverting into different topics, but what I want to say with this is that you have to have a goal, and yet you still have to dig deeper into why you want to achieve that goal. And the reasons better be strong enough, right? So when I moved here to Greece, this was a very strong reason for me, okay? Being close to the sea, being able to go for a walk, being able to go for a hike, being able to just live simple pleasures of life. I love nature, okay? I love the fact that I can just go to the sea right now and swim. And it's a choice. That level of freedom that I can just do the things that I want to do here in Greece, it means a lot to me. And that's a strong enough reason. When I relocated here to Greece, it was not because of the economy. I've said this before. When I moved from Venezuela to the UK, you know, it was not because of the promise of a better job. It was not because of the weather. It was not because the food in England is amazing, because it's not. I just relocated from Venezuela to the UK because I had an opportunity, all right? I had an opportunity to travel and to experience life. And I just wanted to get my ass to England. And my goal was London though, okay? Not England, like go somewhere else in England, like a smaller place. It was London for a reason. I have explained my life story. I'm not gonna bore you to death here on the channel or on this video again about my life story. But my goal was to get to London, and I actually accomplished that. It was one of my biggest goals in life as a young man growing up in Venezuela. This was a major goal for me when I was in my early 20s. And I said to myself, if I can just get my ass to London, not to visit, but to actually live there, okay? That will mean everything to me. That was my goal, all right? And I did that. And in London, I managed to rebuild my life from zero, man, from scratch. I arrived in London with nothing. And that's the place where I met my wife. That's the place where my daughter was born. I had a life in London. I had a very good ride, to say the least. I enjoyed my life in England very much. And I consider myself lucky at the time. And I consider myself that at the time I had accomplished that goal, that dream of living abroad. All right. Keep in mind that my life in Venezuela was pretty good anyways as well. So I never had to migrate or to escape a hardship situation. Like I never had to, leave from Venezuela to the UK or to the States because I was unemployed. It was quite the opposite. I actually had a good job. I actually had friends. I actually had a life. I had something going on in Venezuela. And so for me, it was a tough thing to give up. It was a very hard thing for me to give up. Okay, so when I came here to Greece, it was a similar story. I had a good life with my wife back in London. I felt proud that I lived in London, that my postcode said London. You know how proud I felt when I will write to other people, like a letter back in the day, obviously, because I don't know if people still write letters like that, but I would feel really proud that I would just write a letter and on the post, the postcode, like when you write your address, you know how proud I felt that it said London? I said, like, I live in London, man. For someone that grew up in Venezuela, living in England and living in London, that means quite a lot, okay? Because it's so far away from Venezuela. It's such a different life. So for me, that meant quite a lot. So that goal, I accomplished it. When I accomplished that goal, I was done. I'm like, I lived abroad. I lived in England. All right, what else can I do? Right? How higher, how better can my life get? How can I have a better goal than that? How can I beat that, right? So when I came to Greece, that's the first time I realized, like, well, maybe I'm not done yet, right? Because when I came here to Greece the very first time on a holiday with back then she was my girlfriend, she was not my wife, we were living in England, I was like, oh God, I kind of like Greece really, from day one. I arrived here in this country, it was, I can't remember the year, it has to be 2003 maybe. Yeah, 2003 roughly. I think it was before the Olympics. And when I arrived here, I arrived at night, and I remember driving, going with a taxi from the airport all the way to where my wife is from, in Elefsina. And I remember looking outside, I'm like, I feel like I am in South America. In a good way, not in a bad way. Like I felt like I was at home. It's a strange feeling, man, because it's late at night. It's not like I arrive on the airport and then I'm here, right? But it was a strange feeling. It was a strange pull. Then I got fascinated about the language, the culture, and of course, as soon as I tasted the food, I was like, please, can we just move here? Can I just live here? I want to go to the sea and swim on a regular basis. I want to eat, Greek food on a regular basis. Is it possible that I could live here? I don't know Greek. Yes, I don't have work. Yes, I don't know many things. I don't have friends. I don't have anything apart from my wife being Greek. But is it possible that I could live here? Right? And for me, that means learning the language. For me, that means understanding as much as possible about the culture. For me, that means to have a very clear goal to the point that I can actually measure it. Meaning that, okay, if I want to live in Greece, then that means that I have to do everything that I can within my power to make that happen. Now, my life here in Greece could have a different manifestation, or this could look very different. I have said this before. If I was living in Athens, in the center of Athens, we would be surrounded by buildings, right? We will be in the center of Athens, but I don't live in Athens. I don't live in a major city. I live in the countryside. I live in a small town. So it's a very slow living, slow-paced living. That's what I want to say. Okay, it's a tourist destination. There's people right now having a swim right there. Okay, and this is by intention. This is not something by chance. All right, I was very intentional with this goal. I have mentioned this before here on the channel. The reason why I live here is because this is exactly where I wanted to live here in Greece. I have been writing my goals for years, and whenever I came here for a holiday, the very first time with my family, I fell in love with this particular place, and I will write down my goals. I live in Nafplio with my family. I live in Nafplio with my family. I did this for years, man. And it was very, very intentional. So you have to have the intention, but that's not good enough, all right? I am a big believer in vision boards. I am a big believer in writing down your goals. I am a big believer in commitment. Yes, sacrifice, you know, this does not come easy to me, or did not came easy at all. As we speak, in order for me to maintain and sustain this lifestyle, means that I have to become the person who lives like this. And what the hell does that mean? Well, it means that I have to figure out many things in life. Like, you know, I'm a family man, so I have kids. So they have to go to school. They have to have friends. They have to, you know, my priority is my kids. So there's a lot of things that I have, you know, I had to do in order to try to balance my dream life of going for a swim on a random weekday, because today is Thursday morning, and you know, most people are in an office right now, and I'm here recording a YouTube video, recording my vlogs and recording my hike. And I could go for a swim. And I'm not saying this to brag, but in order for me to live this lifestyle, I've had to do many, many things. And I had to figure out a lot of things along the way, meaning how I'm gonna earn a living, how I'm gonna be able to work location free, how can I raise my family at the same time, how can I, you know, work out and balance life as it's happening. And this is something that I believe a lot of people want as well, right? Kalimera. Anyways, guys, I hope this video finds you well. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I'll see you in another video.